contained in a flash disk. There was also the order paper for October 1st, 2024. There was the communication from the chair, number 046 of 2024, which was issued on 1st of October 2024. There was also the communication from the chair, number 047 of 2024, issued on 1st of October 2024, among other documents which the National Assembly did forward to the Senate regarding this particular business that the senators will be engaging in this morning and tomorrow. The team of advocates representing the National Assembly are Honorable James Orengo, who is the lead counsel, senior counsel, Paul Nyamodi, Gumbo Eric, Kip Kogei Moses Kip Kemoi, Mudhomi Thiankolu, Peter Wanyama, Meli Kennedy Kipkoech, Joan Jeruto, Murioki Eric Mwirigi, Mwereru Boniface Mawira, Undago Kevin Otieno, Alex Mbaya, Kennedy Chalo, and John Mwangi Kangu. Those are the advocates representing the National Assembly. The
Clerk, do we have all the parties in the chamber? Honorable Senators, 2 more minutes for the parties to settle in.
The National Assembly shall call the following witnesses: Honorable Ikomas Mwengi Mutuse, Mr. Andrew Mulua, Ms. Mercy Wanjau, Honorable Johnson Sakaja, and Mr. Peterson Jomo Mushira. The National Assembly, via the same letter, also forwarded the following documents: impeachment motion and witness affidavits, exhibits to the impeachment motion, exhibits to the impeachment motion, volume 2A, public participation report, volume 4, volume 5, House proceedings, volume 6, the Deputy President response to the motion, volume 7, the National Assembly's list and bundle of authorities, volume 8, affidavit of Peterson Jomo Mushira, and volume 8A, responses from various government agencies. The following members of Parliament have been designated to attend and represent the National Assembly in the proceedings: Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, Honorable George Murugara, Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, Honorable John Makali, and Honorable Zamzam Mohammed.
I'm informed that all the parties are now settled, ready for this hearing. I will therefore allow the clerk to call the first order. Senator Eddy and Senator Siango, why are you exchanging seats? Proceed, clerk.
Order number 2. Reading of the charges on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, having dispensed with the pre-hearing meeting of the Senators, which was a closed session, it is now time to commence the proceedings on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. You will recall that by a letter reference number NA/DLP/TBO/MTS/2024 into brackets 025, dated the 8th of October 2024, the Speaker of the National Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate that at a sitting of the National Assembly held on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, pursuant to Article 145(2), as read with Article 150 of the Constitution, the National Assembly approved a motion for the removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Speaker of the National Assembly forwarded the following documents to the Senate, being the record of proceedings of the National Assembly and the evidence adduced in support of the impeachment motion. 1, a copy of the notice of special motion and an affidavit of the Honorable Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse, OGW MP, dated 26th of September 2024 and received on the 27th of September 2024, running from page 40 to 42. 2, electronic evidence relating to the special motion contained in a flash disk. 3, order papers for 1st of October 2024, communication from the Chair number 046 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 1st of October 2024, communication from the Chair number 047 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 1st of October 2024. Certified Hansard and votes and proceedings for the 1st of October 2024, communication from the Chair number 048 of 2024, issued on the 2nd of October 2024. Letters of appointment of advocates for A, Swanyan Company Advocates for His Excellency the Deputy President, B, Dunstan Omari Advocates for Morani Manufacturers Limited. Letter to His Excellency the Deputy President, forwarding the notice of motion, affidavit of service on His Excellency the Deputy President, order paper for the 2nd of October 2024, certified Hansard and votes and proceedings for the 2nd of October 2024, public participation advertisement of the 2nd of October 2024, being the Daily Nation newspaper, Standard newspaper, and Star newspaper. Public participation advertisement of the 3rd of October 2024, being the Daily Nation newspaper, Standard newspaper, Star newspaper, and Taifa Leo. Public views, template, English and Kiswahili. Memo to constituency/county office managers, dated the 4th of October 2024. Public participation advertisement of 4th of October 2024, being Daily Nation newspaper, Standard newspaper, and Star newspaper. Order issued by the High Court, sitting at Kerugoya on Friday, the 4th of October 2024. Press statement by the Clerk of the National Assembly on the extension of public participation, issued on the 4th of October 2024. This communication is long, and bearing the situation of Senator Gloria Roba, I will allow her to take her seat. Praise statement by the Clerk of the National Assembly on the extension of public participation, issued on the 4th of October 2024. Public participation advertisement of the 5th of October 2024, being Standard, Saturday Nation newspaper, and Standard newspaper. Public participation report tabled on the 8th of October 2024. Response to the notice of special motion from His Excellency the Deputy President, received on the 8th of October 2024 at 4 p.m. Electronic evidence by His Excellency the Deputy President relating to the special motion contained in a flash disk. Order paper for Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024. Communication from the Chair, number 049 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, and certified Hansard and votes and proceedings for the 8th of October 2024. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Article 145, subsection 3A of the Constitution, and Standing Order 78-1 of the Senate, at the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, the charges against His Excellency the Deputy President, as contained in the motion of impeachment by the National Assembly, were read out to the assembled Senate. Honorable Senators, at this juncture, allow me to remind you of the mandate of the Senate in relation to the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President as provided for under Articles 150 and 145 of the Constitution, as read together with Standing Order 78 of the Senate. In particular, Article 150 of the Constitution states as follows: the Deputy President may be removed from office, A, on the ground of physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions of the office, or B, on impeachment on the ground of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law, and 2, where there are serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national or international law, or 3, for gross misconduct. 2, the provisions of Articles 144 and 145 relating to the removal of the President shall apply with the necessary modifications to the removal of the Deputy President. Now, Article 145 of the Constitution, Standing Order 78, Part 1 of the second schedule of the Standing Orders of the Senate, provide for the procedure to be followed in the hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President. Specifically, Article 145.3 of the Constitution and Standing Order 78.1 of the Senate provide that the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Honorable Senators will recall that at a sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, the motion for establishment of special committee was deemed to have been withdrawn pursuant to Standing Order 70. This therefore paved the way for the investigation on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya to be held in plenary. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, by way of status update, pursuant to Rules 4A, Senator Karen Nyamo, attentive please. By way of status update, pursuant to Rules 4A and 6 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal of the Deputy President in plenary, the Senate invited the Deputy President to appear and be represented before the Senate during its investigation. The Senate further invited the Deputy President, if he so chooses, to appear before the Senate to file an answer to the charges with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by 5 p.m. on Monday, 14th of October 2024, setting out the following. 1, the Deputy President's response to the particulars of the allegations. 2, the mode of appearance before the Senate, whether in person, by advocate, or in person and by advocate. 3, the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be presented by such witnesses before the Senate. And lastly, any other evidence to be relied on. Pursuant to Rules 4B and 7 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal of the Deputy President in plenary, the Senate notified the National Assembly of the date for the commencement of the investigation and invited the National Assembly to designate members of the National Assembly who shall appear and represent the National Assembly before the Senate during the investigation. The National Assembly was further invited, if it so chooses, to appear before the Senate to file with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by 5 p.m. on Monday, 14th of October 2024, setting out documentation of the following. 1, designating members of the National Assembly, if any, who shall attend and represent the National Assembly in the proceeding before the Senate. 2, indicating the mode of appearance before the Senate, whether in person, by advocate, or in person and by advocate. 3, indicating the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be presented by such witnesses before the Senate. And lastly, specifying any other evidence to be relied on. Now, honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, on 14th of October 2024, the Office of the Clerk of the Senate received a response reference reference number SW, stroke PET, stroke 153, stroke VOEN, stroke 01-2024, and dated the 14th of October 2024, to the invitation to appear issued to the Deputy President from a senior company advocate, who indicated that His Excellency the Deputy President had appointed the firm to represent him in the proceedings before the Senate, and that the Deputy President would also appear in person and by advocates. The letter also indicated the list of counsel representing His Excellency, the Deputy President, and the list of witnesses for the Deputy President. Similarly, on 14th of October 2024, the Office of the Clerk of the Senate received a response reference number NA stroke CAN stroke co stroke 2024 into brackets 562 and dated 14th of October 2024 to the invitation to appear issued to the National Assembly from the Clerk of the National Assembly, indicating that Mrs. G&A Advocates LLP had been appointed to represent the National Assembly and that the National Assembly would appear in person and by advocates. The letter also indicated the members of the National Assembly representing the National Assembly in these proceedings and the witnesses for the National Assembly. Pursuant to Rule 8 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal from office of the Deputy President in plenary, on Monday, 14th of October 2024, the Clerk of the Senate furnished each party with the documentation filed by the other party in accordance with Rule 6 and 7 of the Rules of Procedure. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, the hearing program, which has been appended to today's order paper, details the various activities in the hearing and determination of the matter and the time allocated for each activity. It will be crucial that all parties comply with the time allocated. I will repeat, it will be crucial that all parties comply with the time allocated. The parties will be notified of the balance of time on each activity through the clerks at the table. In summary, the program states that after we have dispensed with the preliminary matters today, Wednesday, 16th of October 2024, the charges against the Deputy President, as submitted by the National Assembly, shall be read. Thereafter, His Excellency the Deputy President will be given an opportunity to take a plea on the charges. This will be followed by an opening statement by the National Assembly and the Deputy President. After the conclusion of the opening statements, the presentation of the case of the National Assembly shall commence. The National Assembly will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the Deputy President will be allocated 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses after presentation of the case by the National Assembly. Honorable Senators will be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarification from the National Assembly. This will take us up to the end of today's sitting. At the sitting scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th of October 2024, His Excellency the Deputy President will present his case before the Senate. The Deputy President will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the National Assembly will be allowed 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses. Honorable Senators will also be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarifications from the Deputy President, following which the closing statements by the parties will be made for a period not exceeding 1 hour each. As provided for under Rule 27 of the Rules of Procedure for removal of Deputy President by impeachment, after the closing statements have been made, the hearing shall conclude and the Senate shall proceed into camera session to deliberate on the issues raised. The Senate shall thereafter proceed to debate a special motion prior to voting on each of the charges. At this stage, a supplementary order paper will be issued to facilitate this debate. In accordance with Article 145(7) of the Constitution and Standing Order 788 of the Senate, the voting shall be by all senators. The Deputy President shall cease to hold office if at least 2/3 of all senators vote to uphold any of the impeachment charges. If, however, the vote in the Senate fails to result in the removal of the Deputy President, the Speaker of the Senate shall notify the Speaker of the National Assembly accordingly. Honorable Senators, I now invite Counsel for the National Assembly to introduce the legal team of the National Assembly and the members representing the National Assembly by stating the full name and designation of each person. You may proceed, Counsel.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for the National Assembly, the legal representation is as follows. The Honorable James Orengo, Senior Counsel, leading the team. Mr. Paul Nyamodi, Legal Counsel. Myself, Eric Gumbo, Legal Counsel. Dr. Mudomi Viankolu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Moses Kipkogei, Legal Counsel. Mr. Peter Wanyama, Legal Counsel. Mr. Ken Meli, Legal Counsel. And Mr. Mwangi Kangu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Speaker, sir, this team is further assisted by a team of our younger colleagues, Mr. Alex Bayer, Legal Counsel, Mr. Elias Ouma, Legal Counsel, Mr. Eric Muriuki, Legal Counsel, Mr. Boniface Mawira, Legal Counsel, and Ms. Joanne Jeruto, Legal Counsel. From the National Assembly, we have the Honorable Otiende Amolo, Senior Counsel. We have the Honorable George Gitonga Murugara. We have the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga. We have the Honorable John Makali. And we also have the Honorable Zamzam Mohammed. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I similarly now invite counsel for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to introduce the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President by stating the full name and designation of each person. Counsel, you may proceed.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, honorable senators, the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is present in this august house, are as follows. Myself, Paul Muite, Elisha Ongoya, Tom Macharia, Soanya Victor Ogeto, Ndego Wanjiro, John Jomo, Faith Waigwa, Amos Kisilu, George Wandati, George Sakiba, Andrew Muge, Eric Naibei, Mrs. Julia Omwamba, and Mr. Willis Echeza. Mheshimiwa Speaker, we will be raising an issue about one of the members of the legal team read out this morning as representing the National Assembly. I thank you, and I thank honorable members.
Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Senate, I welcome the National Assembly and its team, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGS, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and his team, members of the public and the media, to the Senate and to these proceedings. Now, as you are aware, Article 118 of the Constitution mandates Parliament to conduct its business in an open manner, and that its sittings and those of its committees shall be open to the public. The hearing of the proposed removal from office of the Deputy President pursuant to Article 145 of the Constitution, Standing Order 78, and the second schedule to the standing orders of the Senate is a matter that has generated immense public interest. The Senate, in this particular hearing, has facilitated members of the public who are interested in the proceeding to access its galleries. However, I draw the attention of the members of public who are seated in the galleries to Rule 28 of the Speaker's rules, which state as follows. Visitors in the galleries shall remain seated, shall not applaud, comment audibly, make signs, eat, sleep, read books, newspapers, or other material except the order paper for the day, or create any disturbance. I request the members of public to observe the aforesaid rule. Any member of the public who contravenes the Speaker's rule will be inviting stern action against them, which includes expulsion from the precincts of Parliament. The office of the Clerk of the Senate is directed to ensure compliance with the Speaker's rules. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I now invite the Clerk to read the particulars of the allegations against His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Clerk, you may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Njarene, and perhaps before we proceed to the next session, my learned senior counsel, Paul Moite, did raise an issue that we have an objection in terms of the appearances of legal counsel appearing for the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is in line with the conduct of this House, and the records bear as witness that we also have, we'll also be relying on an authority in our objection. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are raising an objection to the appearance of my senior advocate, legal counsel, James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. And this is the basis of our objection briefly, that my learned friend, senior James Orengo, is a full-time serving state officer as per Article 260 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 26, subsection 2 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, which bars a full-time state officer from engaging in meaningful employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, it will be prejudicial to our client if this House was to allow my learned friend, senior James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. Mr. Speaker, sir, just recently, this House, which is a House of record, we bear as witness that during the impeachment of the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, the County Assembly attempted to appear by legal counsel represented by one Honorable Soro. An objection was raised by my learned friend, Senator Njarene, which objection was sustained by this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is further premised in the High Court decision, that is High Court Constitutional Petition 204 of 2019, where Justice Ogola barred His Excellency the Governor of Siaya County from representing the then Director General of Kenya Port Authority, one Daniel Maduk. The judgment is before this honorable House that a person who is engaged in full-time employment cannot then purport to appear and represent a party before this assembly. It will raise serious conflict of interests. The same will prejudice our client, and it's also in violation of clear provisions of the law as cited. In that respect, Mr. Speaker, sir, we invite you to uphold our objection before the charges are read out to the to our client. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this ruling that I've just cited, the court was of the view that a person who is engaged in full-time engagement as a state officer cannot and is barred from representing a party in a private capacity. We so beseech you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to uphold our objection. I am most humbled.
Counsel for the National Assembly, if you look at our program, the preliminary objections were to be raised after His Excellency has taken plea. And therefore, we'll allow the clerk to read the charges. Before anything else, I will allow the Counsel for the National Assembly to respond, and thereafter I will make my ruling, and then we'll take it from there.
I am most obliged, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Particulars of the allegations. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, please take the stand. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the grounds for your proposed removal from office by impeachment, as received by the Senate from the National Assembly, are as follows. Part A, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law pursuant to Article 51(b)(1) of the Constitution. Ground 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27(4), 73(1)A and 2B, 75(1)C, and 129(2) of the Constitution, and Articles 147(1), as read with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution provides, among other things, that the people of Kenya adopted and enacted it, A, being proud of the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and a determination to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation, and B, recognizing the aspirations of all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of human rights, equality, freedom, democracy, social justice, and the rule of law. The preamble of the Constitution is supplemented by Article 10, 2A, B, and C of the Constitution, which establishes the core national values and principles of governance that bind all state officers, including the Deputy President. These values and principles include patriotism, human dignity, national unity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, non-discrimination, equality, human rights, protection of the marginalized, democracy, and good governance. Moreover, Articles 73(1)A and 2B of the Constitution establish responsibilities of leadership. They provide that the authority assigned to a state officer, such as the Deputy President, is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that is consistent with the purpose and objects of the Constitution, demonstrates respect for the people, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office, and promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. Also, Article 27(4) of the Constitution prohibits all forms of discrimination, including discrimination based on ethnic or social origin, conscience, belief, language, and birth. Further, Article 73(2)B of the Constitution provides that decision-making should be objective and impartial and should not be influenced by favoritism and improper motives. Furthermore, Article 75(1)(c) of the Constitution provides that a state officer should behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids demeaning the office he holds. Therefore, as a matter of constitutional compliance, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is the principal assistant to the President of the Republic, is required, A, to promote the constitutional core values such as peace and unity of all Kenyans in the context of ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, patriotism, national unity, rule of law, democracy, and participation of the people, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized, and good governance. B, to respect and uphold representation of Kenya's multi-ethnic and culturally diverse society through the promotion of equality and affording equal opportunities to all Kenyans in appointments to the public service and allocation of public resources. And C, to make, promote, and implement public policy decisions that do not discriminate against any Kenyan based on conscience, ethnic or social origin, language, or birth. However, on diverse dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently made utterances threatening to discriminate, exclude, and unlawfully deny sections of the people of Kenya and regions of the Republic of Kenya equal opportunities for public service appointments and allocation of public resources. Besides, the utterances are highly inflammatory and insightful and significantly undermine national unity and the peaceful coexistence of Kenya's diverse communities. To illustrate, A, sometime in 2023, at a public forum in Kajiado County within the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made highly inflammatory and insightful public pronouncements to the effect that the government of Kenya is a company and that the allocation of government development projects and public sector jobs are based on shares determined by how the populace of the various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general election. Specifically, he stated as follows, quote, "A government is like a company. There is shareholding. Kuna wale who have invested a lot of shares, kuna wale wameweka kidogo, kuna wale wamekataa, lakini wote ni wa Kenya. So ndio tukasema, kama wewe umeenda kupanda mahindi, ama wacha nipeane example ya ng'ombe, kwa sababu niko Kajiado. Wewe uko na ng'ombe yako ya maziwa, hiyo ng'ombe imezaliwa ikiwa njao, umeichunga vizuri, umepatia majani, umenunulia dairy meal, umepatia chumvi, umepeleka kwa malisho, umepatia maji, imezaa, imeanza kukamuliwa. Wewe unatakiwa kwanza ukue mtu ya kwanza kukamua hiyo ng'ombe na kunywa maziwa." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua emphasized the divisive and insightful narrative embodied in the above utterances as follows, quote, "Haiwezekani mtu ambaye alikuwa anakupigia kelele ukichunga hii ng'ombe na kusema hii ng'ombe ni ile ya kienyeji, hakuna haja ya kushughulika naye. Hii ng'ombe ni bure, haiwezi kutoa maziwa. Hii ng'ombe hata ikipona jicho moja, wachana nayo, unapoteza wakati. Saa ile ng'ombe imezaa, imetoa maziwa, amekuja na kikombe, amekuja na sufuria, anataka atolewe maziwa. Mimi nikasema hiyo haiwezekani. Nikasema yule mwenye hii ng'ombe na kuichunga na kuitunza, kwanza akamue maziwa. Yeye na watoto wake wakunywe. Ile itabaki aitie majirani. Hata yule alikuwa anapiga kelele akisema hii ng'ombe ni bure na haiwezekani, kama kunayo imebaki pia apewe. Kama hakuna imebaki atembee. Si namna hiyo? End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made similar remarks at another public forum as follows. Quote, "A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I said it is like a company. In every company, there are shares, preferential shares and ordinary shares. When there is an AGM, non-shareholders do not vote or attend the AGM. When there are dividends to be divided, they are divided according to the number of shares. That is the truth." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the insightful and divisive utterances at yet another forum where he stated as follows. Quote, "Si lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Sisi lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Hii serikali ni kampuni na ni ya shares. Si ndio? Ni ya shares. Kuna wenye kampuni, wale wako na shares mingi, wale wako na chache. Kuna wale hawana. Sasa nyinyi mliinvest kwa hii kampuni ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua. Sasa lazima mvune. Yule ambaye alipanda atafanya nini? Si mlipanda? Si mliamka mapema?" End of quote. At another forum in Nandi County, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the same divisive and insightful narrative as follows. Quote, "Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Huyu Felix ako hapo. Mimi mnanijua msimamo wangu, ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi, kuna wale kwanza ya kuangaliwa. Si mnajua? Sasa huyu Felix ako pale ndiye kuunganisha mawaya. Mambo yenu tumepanga. Mambo iko sawa. Chakula iko jikoni, karibu kuiva. Watoto ni wengi, chakula ni kidogo. Iko watoto ya nyumbani, iko wajirani. Iko namna hiyo. Na nyinyi mtulie. Chakula ikiiva, sisi ndio wenye kupakua. Na watoto tunawajua kwa sura na kwa msimamo. Hatuwezi kuwa confused. Kuna mtu hajui watoto wake? Na wiki inakuja tutatangaza hatua kali ile tutachukua na ile maneno tumepanga. End of quote. In addition, in September 2024, during a public rally in Nairobi, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made public utterances that incited other communities against the ethnic communities that live around the Mount Kenya region by stating as follows. Quote, "Na mimi mkaniambia nimsaidie rais kwa kazi. Lakini nikiwa hapo kwa serikali, nikuwe pia nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima. Niendelee kuchunga mambo ya mlima ama nisichunge?" Sasa hiyo kuchunga mambo ya mlima inaniletea matatizo. Ati naambiwa mimi ni mkabila. Mimi ni mkabila kweli? Nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima iko makosa? Iko makosa? End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermined the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography.
Clerk, just pause for a bit. Honorable Senators, just put your phones on silence. Please, proceed, Clerk.
Repeat. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermined the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography and multicultural diversity. In addition, they have the potential to alienate, isolate, and create disharmony among the various ethnic communities of Kenya. In summary, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's above-mentioned utterances over the last 2 years are impeachable offenses to the extent that they grossly violate Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27.4, 73.1A and 2B, 75.1C, and 129.2 of the Constitution, and Article 147.1 as read with Article 131.2C and D of the Constitution. Specifically, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's divisive and insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, A, are incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, B, can stir ethnic hatred and promote ethnic balkanization of the Republic of Kenya, C, falsely alluded to an non-existent government policy to discriminate and marginalize the populace of the regions and tribes that did not vote for the current administration in the 2022 general elections. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 1, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 2, gross violation of Articles 147.1 and 152.1 of the Constitution. Article 147.1 of the Constitution provides that the Deputy President shall be the principal assistant of the President and shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. In addition, Article 152.1 of the Constitution states that the Deputy President is a member of the Cabinet. On various dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua undermined the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate by making unilateral public statements that were inconsistent with policy positions collectively adopted by the government. To illustrate, A, on or around 30th April 2024, the Cabinet passed a resolution for the evacuation of people residing along the Nairobi River. B, shortly after that, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made a public statement opposing the Nairobi River riparian evacuation orders, which the Cabinet had sanctioned for public safety and climate change mitigation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made contradictory public statements despite being a member of the Cabinet and being assigned the function of superintending the Nairobi River riparian evacuation order. In addition, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has on several occasions throughout the last 2 years made public statements contradicting the President on critical matters of governance and the exercise of the President's functions as a symbol of national unity. To illustrate, in March 2023, at a public forum in the Nyanza region, the President said Kenya belongs to all, notwithstanding how people voted in the 2022 general elections, and that he would ensure the government does not discriminate against anyone. However, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, speaking after the President at another public forum, contradicted him by saying that Kenya is a company in which the provision of government services is based on shares. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has made numerous other utterances at public forums where he publicly restates the divisive narrative that Kenya is a company in which the rights of citizens are based on shares determined by how various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general elections. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's unilateral, divisive, and insightful public statements are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate, B, they violate the doctrine of collective responsibility, C, they are equivalent to insubordination of the President, which is incompatible with his constitutional status as the principal assistant to the President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 2, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 3, gross violation of Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, 189.1, and the 4th schedule to the Constitution, that is, undermining devolution. Article 10.2a of the Constitution provides that devolution is a fundamental national value and principle of governance. In addition, Article 6.2 of the Constitution provides that governments at the county and national levels are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations based on consultation and cooperation. These provisions are supplemented by Article 189(1) of the Constitution, which provides that governments at each level shall perform and exercise their powers in a manner that respects the functional and institutional integrity of government at the other level. Under paragraph 7A of part 2 of the 4th schedule to the Constitution, county governments are responsible for trade development and markets as an exclusive function. Moreover, the Deputy President chairs the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, an essential organ for consultation between the two levels of government. On or around 20th September 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic, unlawfully interfered with the running of Nairobi City County Government by holding a public rally in which he incited citizens against lawful directives of the Nairobi City County Government on the planning and relocation of markets. Further, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly disparaged the leadership of the Nairobi City County Government and its decisions. Moreover, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has interfered with the proper discharge of county government's constitutional functions regarding alcohol control and regulation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's insightful and demeaning public statements and conduct are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine devolution, B, they undercut the functional and institutional integrity of county governments, C, they unjustifiably vilify and ridicule the leadership of county governments, especially the Nairobi City County Government. Consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Article 6.2.
Clerk, just a minute. I realize what you're reading is fairly long. His Excellency the Deputy President, if you may will, you may sit, and when taking the plea, you may stand.
No, Mr. Speaker, let me stand.
You may proceed, Clerk.
I repeat, consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, and 189.1 of the Constitution, as read with the 4th schedule to the Constitution. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 3, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 4, gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution, that is, undermining the institutional and decisional independence of judges. Article 161 of the Constitution provides that the judiciary shall be subject only to this Constitution and the law, and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. Many international law instruments, treaties, and principles require the guarantee of the judiciary's independence and require all government officers and institutions to respect and observe it. In 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and the need to respect, protect, and uphold the independence of the judiciary, made a scathing public attack against the Honorable Lady Justice Esther Maina, Judge of the High Court of Kenya, and falsely threatened to file a petition for the removal of the said judge in gross violation of Article 165 of the Constitution. The Honorable Judge had presided over a case in which His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua was a party and had, in the lawful performance of her judicial function, ordered His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to forfeit to the state the sum of Kenya shillings 200 million, which she had found to be proceeds of corruption and money laundering. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's public attacks against the judge are impeachable offenses to the extent that they undermine the functional and decisional independence of judges. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 4, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 5, gross violation of Articles 3.1 and 148.5a of the Constitution, that is breach of the oaths of office and allegiance. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's actions and utterances outlined. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's actions and utterances outlined in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 constitute a gross violation of Article 3.1 of the Constitution, which requires every person to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. Further, the actions and utterances of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua grossly violate Article 148.5a of the Constitution, which prescribes the oath of allegiance of the office of the Deputy President, that obligates the Deputy President to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and all other laws. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 5, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Part B, serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national law pursuant to Article 151b(2) of the Constitution. Ground 6, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 13(1)(a) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Section 13 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act provides that it is an offense for any person to use threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior where the person intends to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. The section also makes it an offense to use such words or engage in such behavior when, having regard to all the circumstances, ethnic hatred is likely to be stirred up. Besides, Section 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act states that a person commits an offense when the person makes statements that are intended or are likely to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's persistent, inflammatory, reckless, insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, the details of which are set out in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, establish serious reasons to believe that he has committed crimes under Section 13(1) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 6, guilty? How do you plead to ground 6, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 7, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 45(1), 46, 47A(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has inexplicably amassed a humongous property portfolio estimated at Kenya shillings 5.2 billion, primarily from proceeds of corruption and money laundering. The value of the property and wealth that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired over the last 2 years is incompatible with his non-legitimate income, that is Kenya shillings 12 million per annum or thereabouts. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired the above-mentioned property and wealth using his two sons, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, that is Kevin Gachagua, and Keith Ikinu Rigathi, that is Keith Ikinu, and other close family members and associates as proxies. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies, especially the two sons, have used the following companies to massively launder money, conceal proceeds of crime, corruption, and benefit from influence peddling. Number one, Spiritway Limited, PVT-Y2ULDMKY, date of incorporation 14th of September 2023. Shareholders, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, who is director, stroke shareholder, stroke beneficial owner with 100 shares. 2, Fortis Viz Group Limited, PVT-MKUMAKEE, date of incorporation 14th of February 2023. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares and Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares. 3, Grand Bypass Apartments Limited, PVT-5JUZEKL8, date of incorporation 11th of January 2024. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua, Director, John Mwai Madenge of 7676931 as Director, Peter Njoroge Regeru, number 4686103, Director, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, shareholder with 1 share. Four, Kuruwitu Properties Limited, PVT-EYUBKG83, date of incorporation 26th of April 2023. Shareholders, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, as shareholder with 1,000 shares, and John Mwai Madenge. Number 5, the Anansi Collective, BN-JRCG76AG, date of incorporation 29th of March 2021. Shareholders, Keith Ikinu Rigathi. 7, Calvary Creed International Limited, number CPR/2015/186154, date of incorporation 16th of April 2015. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 950 shares. 8, Cosmia Venture Limited, number PVT-Q7ULE6Z, date of incorporation 26th of February 2018. Shareholders, Herman Dhoita Maina 200 shares, James Mwangi Kagodho 50 shares, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 250 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares, Irene Nyanjao Washira 250 shares, and David Kipkemboi Mudhamia 200 shares. Number 9, Cristo Kenya Limited, number CPR/2009/4898, date of incorporation 12th of June 2009. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 200 shares. 10, Delta Merchants Limited, number CPR/2009/4874, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 200 shares. 11, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, date of incorporation 5th of August. (2008), shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director, Keith Ikino Rigathi, director, estate of the deceased James Nderito Gachagua, shareholder with 10,000 shares. 12, Rigathi Gachagua Foundation, number CLG-XXFXRG, date of incorporation 11th of November 2022, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua. 13, Dorcas Rigathi Foundation, number CLG-G9FV2G, date of incorporation 19th of October 2022, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, Keith Ikino Rigathi, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, Nancy Wamboi Kang'ethe. 14, Heartland Supplies Limited, number CPR/2009/4881, date of incorporation 11th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua, director as director, shareholder with 200 shares. Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 200 shares. 15, Karandi Farm Limited, number C94303, date of incorporation 25th of June 2001, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director, shareholder with 700 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 100 shares. 16, Morani Manufacturers Limited, number PVT-8LU7Q8GD, date of incorporation 13th of October 2021, shareholders Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder, 200 shares, Keith Ikino Rigathi, director and shareholder, 200 shares, Joshua Karianjahi Waiganjo, director, shareholder, 600 shares, and Grace Washuka Mwangi, beneficial owner. 17, Mothers of the Land Limited, number CLG-55FD3B, date of incorporation 1st of December 2021, shareholders Louisa Njeri Wanjiro, director / member, Caroline Jepkemboi Waiyaki, director / member, Lucy Njogoine Motegi, director / member, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, director / member. 18, Pioneer Medical Kenya Limited, number CPR/2009/4910, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director / shareholder, 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, director and shareholder, 200 shares. 19, Rider Furniture Mart Limited, number C141876, date of incorporation 18th of July 2007, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director and shareholder, 500 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder, 500 shares. 20, Royal Crimson Ventures Limited, number PVT-LRU2QZL, date of incorporation 26th of February 2018, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director and shareholder with 400 shares, Keith Ikino Rigathi as director and shareholder, 400 shares, and Peter Kangagi Githaiga as director and shareholder, 200 shares. 21, Technical Supplies and Services Limited, Kenya Limited. Date of incorporation, 6th of June 2009. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua as director, stroke shareholder with 400 shares. Sorry, I said that again. 21, Technical Supplies and Services Kenya Limited, CPR 2009/4895. Date of incorporation is 6th of June 2009. Shareholders are Rigathi Gachagua, director, stroke shareholder with 400 shares, and Francis Moshiri Wanguo, director. And 22, Wamunyoro Investments Limited, number C93670. Date of incorporation, 23rd of April 2001. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director, stroke shareholder with 1 share, and Keith Ikinu Rigathi, director, stroke shareholder with 1 share. To illustrate, in November 2023, Cristo Kenya Limited, number 9 in the above table, a proxy company of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, purchased Outspan Hotel, situated at Nyeri Municipality Block /1/1669 from Aberdare Safari Hotels for Kenya shillings 535 million. The directors of Cristo Kenya Limited are the sons of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, namely Kevin Gachagua and Keith Ikinu. Sometime in August 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly admitted that his family had acquired this property. B, in November 2023, Kevin Gachagua and Keith Ikinu, the proxies of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, acquired Treetops Lodge, a high-end hotel situated in Nyeri County. Sometime in August 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly admitted that his family had acquired this property. C, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies also acquired Olive Gardens Hotel and Queensgate Serviced Apartments in Nairobi. D, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired Vipingo Beach Resort in Kilifi County. E, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a parcel of land known as Rogoro/Kiamariga/1223 in Madera East constituency, where he constructed a helicopter landing facility. F, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired approximately 40 acres of land in Kakuret in Kamburaine in Nyeri County. G, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired 80 acres of land in Meru County. H, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a dairy farm in Nyandarua County. I, additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his office of Deputy President to exert influence and connive with unscrupulous Ministry of Lands officials to issue an allotment letter to Wamunyoro Investments Limited, a company that he owns, to acquire LR 209/12077 and LR 90923, situated at Embakasi in Nairobi, whose value is estimated at Kenya shillings 1.5 billion or thereabouts. After that, this company used the fraudulently acquired documents to support a court case at the expense of the legitimate owner of the property. J, moreover, companies associated with His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies were involved in the KEMSA Kenya shillings 3.7 billion irregular procurement of malaria nets that put the lives of millions of Kenyans at risk. K, In addition, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has used the office of Deputy President to corruptly influence unnecessary and expensive renovation of his official residence in Karen and Mombasa, running into millions of shillings. In essence, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has chosen personal comfort, extreme luxury, and pomposity at the expense of service delivery to the people of Kenya. L. Images of some of the properties that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired from proceeds of corruption, influence peddling, and money laundering have been provided and relate to the following. 1. Treetops Hotel, located in Nyeri. 2. Outspan Hotel, located in Aberdare Ranges. 3. Olive Gardens Hotel, Agwings Kodhek Road. And 4. Vipingo Beach Resort. Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has the following proxy companies to trade with the office he holds. A. Agrobrick Investments Limited. It is a private limited company incorporated in Kenya on 28th May 2017 under certificate number PVT-RXUP6E. The company deals in building and construction. The company's directors / shareholders are A. Rudani Mayur Kumar Mahendrabai, and B. Patel Ankit Kumar Hasmukbai, an Kenyan national. 48. The company operates a bank account, number withheld for data protection reasons, at Sidian Bank, opened on 19th February 2022, with the company directors as the account signatories. On 18th October 2022, Bhavika Nathalal Hirani was added as an account signatory and given the full mandate to operate the account. Bhavika Nathalal Hirani is a proxy of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. On 23rd January 2023, the company account received a transfer of Kenya shillings 47,015,367 shillings and 75 cents from the Executive Office of the Deputy President. The payment was supported by A. Notification of award letter, reference number ODP /ADM ADM.1/57 VO.4/70 dated 16th December 2022 from the Office of the Deputy President to Agrobrick Investment Limited for the proposed refurbishment of Deputy President's official residence at Karen at a cost of Kenya shillings 55,559,520. B. Payment voucher of Kenya shillings 55,133,265.92 was received on 10th January 2023 as the first interim payment in respect of the contract ODP-RT-001, ODP-RT-001/2022-2023. C. An agreement letter dated 22nd December 2022 between Office of Deputy President and Agrobrick Investment Limited for the proposed renovation of Deputy President's official residence in Karen. Bhavika Nathalal Hirani signed the document as a director of Agrobrick Investment Limited. On 23rd January 2023, the funds were suspiciously transferred through a transfer of Kenya shillings 45 million to a related entity, that is, Vaggiani Enterprises Limited. Shockingly, the account had been dormant for around 9 months before it received the payment from the Office of the Deputy President, adding to the reasonable suspicion that it was a special purpose vehicle to siphon funds for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. B. Lusona Events Limited. This is an events management company that was registered on 30th of October 2012 under certificate number CPR/2012/87037. The company directors are A. Esther Wanjiro Njenga and B. Cecilia Mudhoni Njenga. The company operates 2 accounts at the SBM Bank, which it opened in 2015. The company's directors are account signatories. Ian Njuguna Gitata was also introduced as an account signatory and is the sole account operator, pointing to the likelihood that he is the beneficial owner. Between 1st January 2024 and 11th July 2024, the account at SBM Bank received a total of 100 million shillings, 262,821 and 43 cents from the office of the Deputy President, characterized by the receipt of multiple transfers. On 2nd of July 2024, the Deputy President's office paid Lusona Events Limited part of the above-mentioned proceeds of corruption and money laundering in 8 transactions in a single day as follows. On 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 2,946,900. Secondly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 4,806,639 shillings. Thirdly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 4,679,130 shillings. Fourthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 2,955,450 shillings. Fifth, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,374,400 shillings. Sixthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 5,451,912 shillings and 40 cents. Number 7. On 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,582,536 shillings and 50 cents. And number 8, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,840,625 shillings and 60 cents. A substantial portion of the Kenya shillings 100,262,820 and 43 cents was used for luxurious largesse and unnecessary expenditure for carpets, etc., laid down for the Deputy President's functions. Some of the funds were utilized as follows. A. Ian Gitata made Kenya shillings 22,800,000 in cash withdrawals. Some of the withdrawals were declared as cash to pay undisclosed beneficiaries. It was suspicious why they preferred cash payments as opposed to bank transfers. B. Kenya shillings 4 million transferred to a law firm. C. Kenya shillings 26,993,350 investment in fixed term deposits as follows. 1. On 27th of May 2024, Kenya shillings 9,993,350. 2. On 11th July 2024, Kenya shillings 17 million. The utilization of funds was reasonably believed to be an act of corruption and money laundering, as most of the money was withdrawn in cash rather than bank transfers, which is a custom for huge payments. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is reasonably suspected to be the principal beneficiary of these dubious transactions. C. St. Nicholas Rehabilitation and Industrial Training Institute Limited. The company was incorporated on 8th of April 2021 under registration number PVT- AAACMO4. It deals with student rehabilitation and industrial training, trading as St. Nicholas Rehabilitation Center and Psychiatric Hospital. The sole company director is Nicholas Mugambi Maingi. The company operates an account at Equity Bank, opened on August 2017, with the company director as the sole account signatory. Between 1st March 2024 and 5th June 2024, the account received a total of Kenya shillings 21,060,000 from the office of the Deputy President. The funds were suspiciously utilized as follows. A. Kenya shillings 2 million was allegedly used to purchase a white Toyota Prado 'Prado' from Umarali Motors Limited for Kenya shillings 8.5 million. B. Another Kenya shillings 4 million was suspiciously transferred to Nicholas Maingi's account. A cash trail in the personal account revealed that upon receipt of the funds, Nicholas made a transfer of Kenya shillings 4,660,000 to Umarali Motors Limited on 21st March 2024. The purported payment to Umarali Motors Limited using two routes raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and money laundering. Further, prior to receipt of the two payments from the Office of the Deputy President, the account was transacting in minimal accounts, raising suspicions that the entire transaction was a conduit used by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to siphon public funds. The payment scheme used typifies money laundering transactions. From the matters outlined in
right on my body, nyumbani safi na bora. Right on my body, kwa nyumba yangu, bei nzuri hakuna kujuta. Fundi wanasema ndio jambo, weka mabati maisha safi. Right on my body, nyumba yako itang'aa. Right on my body, kwa bei nzuri tena. Kweli anadumu kwa miaka vyuma imara, hakuna crack. Raino mabati juu ya kila paa, hata upepo hawezi acha. Raino mabati, Raino mabati, nyumba yako itang'aa. Raino mabati, Raino mabati, kwa bei nzuri tena. Kweli yanadumu kwa miaka, vyuma imara, hakuna crack. Raino mabati juu ya kila paa, hata upepo hawezi acha. Raino mabati.
Eje ni Wero TV.
Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 9, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 10, gross misconduct, that is insubordination. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Therefore, open or public insubordination of the President, who is the head of state and government under our constitutional framework, is gross misconduct. As stated in the preceding parts, Article 147(1) of the Constitution designates the Deputy President as the principal assistant of the President, who shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently undermined, demeaned, and committed insubordination instead of assisting the President in executing the state executive mandate. Instead, he has opted to run a smear campaign against the presidency for political expediency. Further, whereas Article 147(2) of the Constitution requires the Deputy President to perform the functions conferred by the Constitution and any other functions that the President may assign, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is openly sabotaging the state's efforts in agriculture, including the coffee, tea, sugar, and milk sectors, which the President tasked him to oversee. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has connived with cartels in the tea sector to block the Kenya Tea Development Agency from implementing guaranteed minimum returns that would benefit smallholder tea farmers. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has influenced his family members, allies, associates, and proxies to take control of a local cooperative society, name withheld in Madera, which they are financially hemorrhaging. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 10, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 11, gross misconduct, that is bullying. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, or very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Section 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act provides that a state officer shall not bully any person. Bullying includes repeated offensive behavior that is vindictive, cruel, malicious, or humiliating, and is intended to undermine a person. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently bullied state and public officers. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company. Crystal Limited has submitted a fake bid bond with the sole intention of fraudulently acquiring public property. B. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely bullies public officers in national security organs whom he subjects to public attacks and humiliation. C. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely summons procurement officers in ministries and state institutions and instructs them to direct the procurement of goods and services in a particular manner. D. In the presidency, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua identified public officers who he thinks stand in his way of creating dominance within government and political kingship, and he has severely threatened, intimidated, and harassed them. E. In 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his position as a deputy president to intimidate public officers and a contractor to divert materials meant for the construction of the Kilifi-Malindi Road to tarmac a private road to Vipingo Beach Resort, a hotel associated with him. F. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua uses his constitutional power as deputy president solely to implement sectarian, parochial, and personal interests that seek to profit him. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 11? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
His Excellency the Deputy President, you may take your seat. Counsel for the National Assembly, you may proceed to respond to the objection that has been raised by Counsel for the Deputy President.
Perhaps, Mr. Speaker, sir, just before Council responds to my application, for efficiency and expediency, permit me also to bring to the attention one more application in respect to the documents that were served upon the Deputy President. Mr. Speaker, sir, by a letter that you referred to, sent from the Speaker of the National Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate, the Speaker of the National Assembly did submit the documents that emanated from the National Assembly.
Counsel for the Deputy President, take your seat first. You'll have your moment.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I could take a few moments this afternoon to respond to the preliminary objection that has been raised. I have three quick issues in response to that objection. Number one, the Constitution of Kenya at Article 77 is the primary law that then speaks to restrictions on activities of state officers. In particular, Article 77(1) reads, "A full-time state officer shall not participate in any other gainful employment." Mr. Speaker, sir, that article introduces one critical variable: gainful employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, gainful employment has been defined within our laws. Specifically, Section 26 of the Leadership and Integrity Act has defined what would amount to gainful employment. If I may, Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 26(1) reads, "Subject to subsection 2, a state officer who is serving on a full-time basis shall not participate in any other gainful employment." It then proceeds at subsection 2 to say, in this section, gainful employment means work that a person can pursue and perform for money or other form of compensation or remuneration which is inherently incompatible with the responsibilities of the state office or which results in the impairment of a judgment of a state officer in the execution of the functions of a state office or results in a conflict of interest in terms of Section 16. And so to our response, there has been no assertion that learned senior counsel James Orengo, by representing a party before this House, has participated in gainful employment. In any case, what evidence has been tendered before this Honorable House to speak to that fact? Mr. Speaker, sir, that is a question that has also received judicial interpretation. If I may, in the election petition number 3 of 2013 filed in the High Court in Busia, a similar application was made, again objecting to the participation of the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel in the proceedings in that matter. The judge handling that case interpreted both Article 77 as read with Section 26 of the Leadership and Integrity Act and had this to say, at paragraph 28, that it had been argued that by representing a party in an election petition, the Honorable Senator would be compromising the political neutrality of his office. I would not agree. Section 23 of this Act is a provision on political neutrality expected of appointed state officers. Honorable Orengo holds an elective position. Elected members of Senate are politicians. The provisions of Section 23 do not apply to them. So even if it was to be assumed that, that by representing the third respondent, Honorable Orengo is pursuing a political agenda, that would not be inimical to his office as a member of the Senate. And so, Mr. Speaker, I submit that unless there is material that will be tabled before this House, that by appearing for a party before this House, then the Honorable Mr. James Orengo Senior Counsel would have engaged in gainful employment. That objection does not stand any merit. Number two, the second test that has been applied by courts is the test around conflict of interest. Again, Mr. Speaker, our courts have had occasion to interpret what amounts to conflict of interest. In a case determined by a 5-judge bench, a case reported in our laws, that is EKLR 2018, the case of Philomena Mbete Mwilu versus the DPP and two others, the bench, in determining and dismissing a similar application, defined conflict of interest as a situation where one is confronted by two different interests so that serving one interest would be against the other. Mr. Speaker, sir, there hasn't been any conflict of interest that has been, even in the least, mentioned by the objector to the participation of Senior Counsel, the Honorable James Orengo. Finally, has there been an indication as to any prejudice that could be occasioned by the participation of the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel before this House this afternoon? To the best of my recollection, none has been mentioned. Is counsel, for instance, saying that the participation of the Honorable James Orengo before the proceedings in this House would be such that they would fundamentally impair their defense when they get the opportunity to present the case? I'm just asking myself. That has not been said. In any case, Mr. Speaker, sir, if that was to be the case and the fear that has been presented, then as advocates, as counsel, we operate within very clear and defined rules. Those rules are meant to ensure that a party before this House, just like would be a party before any court or any other forum, does not suffer or does not have a compromise to their rights to fair hearing under Article 50. In the absence of any prejudice that has been mentioned before you, we urge that that objection be dismissed. I've also had occasion to look at the case that was referred to by my learned friend, Mr. Njiru, and with respect, that case turned on two critical points. The first one being that the participation of the Honorable James Orengo as a senator in that matter was said to have had the potential of compromising his participation or departure between what led to the finding in that decision and what we have before you. The judge in that specific matter also went on to add that there must also be established a question or a fact of benefit. Again, I reiterate that no indication, no evidence, or even assertion has been presented before this House to suggest that the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel has in any way benefited by being in this House participating as counsel. So with that, Mr. Speaker, sir, we urge that that objection be dismissed. I am most obliged.
Thank you, Counsel, for His Excellency the Deputy President.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. In brief response to the submissions by my learned friend, there is no denial that has come from Counsel's defense that Senior Counsel Honorable James Orengo is here on pro bono basis. That evidence has not been brought. That claim has not been denied. He's therefore here as counsel earning a fee, and that is what Section 26.
Senior Counsel, don't go to that line of argument. If the evidence of him acting pro bono has not been laid on the table, has the evidence of him earning been put on the table?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the only presumption.
No, we are not going to presume facts. We are not.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am well guided, but may be noted and may go on record that the grounds laid by Section 26, subsection 2, have not been rebutted by the submissions made by counsel insofar as the gainful employment in these proceedings is concerned. Number two, he is here as a governor of Siaya County, not as a senator. And as such, the petition number 3 of 2013 is distinguishable from the fact that he's here as a serving governor. And that is what Section 26, subsection 2 speaks to, and that is also equally the provisions of Article 77 of the Constitution. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the test of prejudice is a creation by counsel. It is not the one that at Section 26, subsection 2, and Article 77 speaks to. The only test is gainful employment. Unless that one is rebutted, the general presumption, again, Your Lordship and Mr. Speaker, sir, and that is a legal presumption, unless it is rebutted, is that he is here for a main purpose to earn a living. Mr. Speaker, sir, I leave that to the House to make a determination. Permit me once more to move the House with my last and final application. Yeah, insofar as, Mr. Speaker, sir, these proceedings are in issue. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 8th of October, 2024, this House was served with a resolution from the National Assembly by the Speaker of the National Assembly via the letter that the Speaker of the Senate referred to. That letter, Mr. Speaker, sir, appears at page 547 to 48 of Volume 5 of the National Assembly's bundle of document. There is no, Mr. Speaker, sir, we were then served with two sets of documents, an affidavit dated the 11th of October, deponed by one Peterson Jomo Mushira. Our objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that that document, that affidavit, did not form part of the documents that were submitted by the Speaker of the National Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate. It's our argument, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this is new evidence. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, we were equally served with a bundle of documents from the National Assembly, which is labeled as Volume 8A, which is also indicated as responses from various government agencies. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is new evidence that does not find itself at page 547 to 548 of the bundle of documents submitted to you or to this Honorable House by the Speaker. The prejudice, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that our response was exclusively limited to the documents that we were served with. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's our argument and our application that these documents will prejudice our case in the sense that, Mr. Speaker, sir, they will violate our rights to a fair hearing. This is trial by ambush by the National Assembly. It's a tradition of this House, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I refer to the findings of this House in the Honorable Governor Sonko in a ruling delivered by the Speaker of this House on the 17th of December, which ruling barred the County Assembly of Nairobi from introducing any new evidence. It has been the tradition of this House to protect all the parties that appears before it, so that, Mr. Speaker, sir, justice will not only be done, but will also seen to be done. We move this House to have these documents expunged from record, and the National Assembly be barred from relying on these documents. Mr. Speaker, sir, if these documents will be admitted, we shall suffer prejudice in the sense that we shall have no ability, or we shall have been denied an opportunity to respond to the same. We urge you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to hold that these documents is new evidence, and we rely on Rule 19 of this House rules. Noting that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the rules guiding these proceedings today do not provide for how to deal with new evidence as and when the same is brought to the attention of the House. However, the rules guiding the proceedings in the impeachment of a governor or deputy governor provides that new evidence shall not be admitted. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to bring to your attention the findings in the case, in the civil appeal number 21 of 2014, which was the case of Governor Wambora versus the County of Assembly of Embu. Mr. Speaker, sir, in that case, Justice Odiek, may the Lord rest his soul in peace, Chief Justice Martha Koome, as then was, and Justice Vishram held that these proceedings of the impeachment of a president or deputy president are paramateria to the impeachment of a governor. That is to say, they are identical. So what applies in those rules in the impeachment of the governor can equally and should equally apply to these rules. And finally, this House being a House of record, then we are bound by our previous precedents. I am most obliged.
Now, Counsel for the National Assembly, you have 1.5 minutes to respond. You may respond now, or you may respond after the lunch break.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I could respond shortly after the
Because
lunch break.
under our rules, we have to rise at 1:15.
Permit me then to respond after the lunch break. Most obliged.
So, honorable members, I will deliver ruling at 2:30 and then allow the Council for the National Assembly to proceed to respond to the second limb of the objection.
AJ